So good morning class. So our topic for today is all about the properties of matter. So for the next slides, I am going to show you those materials that can absorb, sink, or float in water. Okay, so for the first one is buoyancy. So what is buoyancy? Buoyancy is the ability of materials to float in water. Some materials can float or sink, exhibit the property of buoyancy and density. So one of the example that I have here is a plastic bottle. So I have a basin of water here and we're going to put this plastic bottle if it's going to float or sink. So if we put the plastic bottle in a basin of water, it will going to float. So it belongs to those materials that are buoyancy. So the next one is porosity. So porosity is a property of material that allows to absorb water and other liquids. So a material that is porous is like dishwashing sponge. So I have here a cotton. So we are going to try if this cotton can absorb water. So it can be considered as a porous material. So let's try to put this on water. So as you can see, the cotton is absorbing the water. So in short, this cotton can belongs to those materials that are porous. So for the next one, so decomposition. Decomposition is a property of materials to break down into smaller parts or into smaller matter. So I am going to give an example. So take the case of ripe fruits like bananas. So bananas can easily decay after a few days. So I have a banana here. So it is ripe. So if you're going to observe this for at least 2 to 3 days, you can observe or you can see that it will decay step by step, or you can observe that it is not going to preserve like this. So the next one, okay, before I forget, this banana can be considered as a component which is a biodegradable material. So there is also non-biodegradable. So not all materials decay as fast as plant or animals. So those that do not decay are called non-biodegradable. So I have here again a plastic bottle. So if we are going to give this as an example, it is not going to decay, right? So it can be one of those materials that are non-biodegradable. Also this plastic. Okay. So we also have factors affecting decomposition. So the first one is presence of organism or decomposer that cause decay. So some of them are like earthworms and so on. So if you're going to have a food, for example, if a food have many bacteria, it will decay fast. So the next one is temperature. The warmer the temperature, the faster is the decay process. So when the days are very warm, leaving spaghetti on the table and other carbohydrate-rich food will easily spoil. So it can be dangerous and even cause our stomach hurts if we're going to eat them again. So the third one is moisture. So decomposers are also present in moist places. So the decay process is fast. So for example, we are going to have a raw meat. So if we leave that meat on the table, a lot of bacteria are going to live on that material. So it will decay fast. So the next one is exposure to elements. So we are not pretty sure if our plates are clean. So for example, we are going to leave our food on the table and we are not going to cover it. So there's a possibility that there are lots of bacteria floating in the air and it will come to the food. So we should always remember to cover those food or leftover foods, enable for us to have a clean and safe eating. So for the last one, the salt content of the material. So a salty food usually decays slowly. This is because decomposers cannot grow well in salty environment. So salting is a way of delaying or stopping decomposition, thus preserving food some time. Also effects of decay on our health. So food particles left in the mouth and teeth are food for bacteria. So if we are going to eat our foods, we should always remember to brush our teeth because those leftover foods in our mouth can cause a decay in our tooth. It's not just like that because it can also cause a bad breath, and for worse, it can have a bad effect on our health. So that's all for today. So for our assignment, we are going to make a list of materials that belongs to biodegradable and non-biodegradable materials. So that's all for today, class. Thank you for attending.